Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my Theory Tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through the ABRSM Theory Grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and you can also access information about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of hints and tips on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time on exam day when you're actually working through your exam paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. And now we're going to have a look at this past paper from 2014. So if you turn with me to page 2. Now I know this is an old paper from quite a few years ago. However, these past papers provide a really excellent resource for revision, and although the exam format, the layout of the paper has changed a little bit since this past paper, it's still a really good tool for revision. So I do suggest that you make use of a lot of these past papers just to help you prepare for your exam. I also suggest that you have a go on your own first of all. Just try these questions. It doesn't matter if you go wrong. Always work in pencil. I use a mechanical pencil just so that it stays nice and sharp. And then it doesn't matter if you go wrong. You've got your eraser to hand and you can just rub that out and have another go, and you will learn much more thoroughly through those mistakes. So let's have a look at grade 1 2014 paper A. This was sat in the first exam session of 2014. I'm hoping you've had a look at these and now we'll look at them together. So question 1 asks us to add the missing bar lines to these two melodies. The first bar line is given in each, so they've started us off. There's two melodies, so there's two different time signatures, so just be careful there. It's not just a continuation of the first, it's two separate melodies. So we're looking for 4 crotchet beats or 4 quarter notes per bar, or whatever adds up to that same amount of time. And we can see here we've got a 1 crotchet or 1 quarter note here with a dot. The dot makes it half as long again, and then here's a half a beat, a quaver or an eighth note, so those 2 halves will give us a beat. There's a beat, 2 halves gives another beat, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and so we can continue in that same way. We've got 1 beat here, the dot after the note makes it half as long again, so we've got half a beat here, half a beat here, so there's 1 there. These 2 halves make 1, just like it did here. A 1 beat and a 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll put a bar line there. And then again, we've got 1 beat here, half a beat in the dot, with a half a beat here with this quaver, this eighth note. So that gives us another 1 in total. There's a 1 beat. And then we've got 4 semiquavers, 4 16th notes. Now each of these is worth a quarter of a beat, and we know that 4 quarters make a whole, so there's 1 beat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's that bar complete. And then we've got 1 beat here. The dot makes it half as long again, with the other half a beat here in this quaver, this eighth note, and so there's a beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's our bar line, and so we know that that's correct. So let's have another go. So now we're going to go on to this one, which should be 3 crotchet beats or 3 quarter notes per bar. So they've started us off, but just let's check the math. So we've got a half and a half, 2 quavers, 2 eighth notes make 1, a half and a half give us another, a half a beat and a half a beat gives another, so 1, 2, 3 bar line. So let's carry on. So we've got a 1 beat here, the dot after it makes it half as long again, so 1 with a half and a half gives us another 1, and there's another 1, So 1, 2, 3 bar line, 1 in the crotchet or the quarter note. The dot after it is half as long again, so there's another half. So that's a half, which added to this half a beat here, this quaver, this 8th note gives us another beat, another half, so there's another beat combined, half plus a half makes 1. There's a 1 beat, 1, 2, 3. And then we've got a 1 beat and a 2 beat, makes 3. And then this last bar we have a dotted minim, a dotted half note, which is worth 3, because a minim is worth 2, and then half of that, a dot after a note makes it half as long again. So half of 2 is 1, so 2 plus 1 equals 3, and so we know we're correct, nothing's gone astray. Let's move on to the next question. Now this marks the difference between this older paper and the 2018 onwards papers. In the newly revised exam papers, we will no longer be required to write a 2-bar answering rhythm, and so we can just skip that question because it no longer appears in the new exams. However, the rest of the paper is equally valid, even though the presentation of the paper is a little bit different. We still need to know all of this information, and so we will carry on. And so let's look at question 3. So then we're asked to add a correct clef to each of these tonic triads. So we've got a clue in the fact that we're told it's C major, and the tonic of C major must be C. The tonic comes at the bottom of the triad. Remember, it's the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th. So this bottom note really must be C. And for that to be a C, we need that to be the bass clef. All cows eat grass. So we need that to be the bass clef. And then here, for this to be an F major triad, the tonic must be at the bottom, the tonic must be F, and so in order for that to be an F, we need that to be a treble clef, because if you remember, the treble clef spaces are F-A-C-E, they spell face. And so we've already done some of the work for this next part of the question. We need to write the letter name of each of the notes in the triads. Now we can do this without even reading what's there, because we know that the tonic triad must be built on the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th. So if the 1st is C, D, E, F, G, we know that this should be C, E, G, and because it's in the bass clef, all cows eat grass, or whatever little rhyme helps you to remember those space names, we know that that's a C, an E and a G. So you know it just because you know the tonic triad is made of the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th, and you can also just read the letter names in the bass clef. Now we've figured out what clef we're supposed to be in. And so again, in F major, the 1st, the 3rd and the 5th for the tonic triad, the 1st of course must be F, G, A, B, C, and so this must be F-A-C. The spaces in the treble clef spell face, F-A-C-E, and so that's correct. F-A-C. There we go. So now we'll move on to the next question. So we're looking at intervals a little bit more here, and let's have a look at this one. So we're asked to write above each note given. So above each note, write a higher note. So we're counting upwards. We always count upwards from the bottom note to form the named harmonic interval, as shown in the first answer. Now, if you remember, a harmonic interval is where one interval is on top of the other, like a harmony or a chord, unlike a melodic interval where one interval comes one after the other, as in a melody. So we need to make sure that we position those correctly, one on top of the other, counting upwards. Now we're counting from D each time, and so there's a number of ways we can do this. We can either count D as the first, which we must always do, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, counting line, space, line, space, line, space, to know that's a 6th. We can double check that, however, by just writing out the steps of the scale. D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. Of course, we've got F sharps and C sharps because we're in D major, but your key signature will take care of that, so we don't need to worry about that. And we know that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we know that the 6th must be a B. So there's the B below middle C. So here we are, we're counting a third from this D. 1 is the line, 2 is the space, 3 is the line. And we can double check that. D, E, F. This should be an F. Of course it's an F sharp because of our key signature, but that's already dealt with. So here we now need to count an octave from D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takes us to this line here. And we know that of course we're going from D to D, just 8 notes higher. Let's carry on. So we're in the bass clef, we're counting from this D here, but really you hardly even have to notice what clef you're in at the moment because we're just counting 6 steps up this ladder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 6. I'm still on the 6th. It's 7 we want. Dearie me, read the question. So that's 6, so 7 is the next one, the line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we can see that C should be the 7th degree of the scale. Of course it's C sharp because of your key signature. So now we'll count up a 4th. We're counting in treble clef from this D. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the line. And in the treble clef that's a G, and that's correct, that's the 4th. So the last one is in the bass clef, so we count from this low D here. 1, 2 is the space, 3 is the line, 4 is the space, 5 is the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's good boys deserve football always. A is the 5th, and so we know that we're correct there. So that's the end of that question. We'll look at the next question in the next video. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope it's helping you prepare for your exam and just get a good bit of revision in. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. Please do go to sharonbill.com and make use of all of the resource and information that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.